So, yeah, that's live. Okay, so feel free to email me there, ask me questions, give me suggestions, tell me I'm an idiot, whatever you want to do. I'd love to hear from you. I would rather hear from you than not hear from you. Kind of like, I don't care what you say about me as long as you spell my name correctly. Okay, so let's start with a drawer full of stuff that I just pulled out of my lab. And I don't know how I'm going to do this. I think what I might just do is tape them or label them as to what they are. So this is called ESP32 invariant. So this is something that's really kind of anal about me, is I have come up with a label style. It's a font. It's all defined. It's in InDesign, and I just gather up um, everything in my garage, in my lab, are all labeled with this format of label. It makes me very happy. Some of them are just silly because I don't know what to do for the small line, but it makes me happy that I can do that. So looking at ESP32 variants, we'll go over here. So it is. I don't know what some of these things are. I mean, I know what they are in the sense that it's TTGO ESP32. This particular one right here. Um, that's not going to help. But I think it's the same one that I used for the stepper motors. But it's a TTGO. I know that. Now I got a couple of choices here. I can go out to my AliExpress account and figure out what I bought. But I'll tell you, as AI goes, man, I'll tell you, Google Lens is really, really, really remarkable at. It's suffering what? My headset mic is suffering a short dropout. It's on audio peaks. And I think it's because it's Bluetooth. And because I have so much bandwidth. Yeah, it's peaking into the red. Let me bring that up out down to see if that does a little better. Sorry about the inside baseball. But now I've officially got messages coming to um, no, I'm still streaming. Go back to YouTube, my channel again, and there will be another one marked live. I kind of screwed it up. Go back to the YouTube channel and look again. There's another live link period. I am still streaming. I will be at least until 3. Uh, I need to be careful about when I start and stop streams for sure. So what I'm saying is that Google Lens, it's still crap on most things, but to find out what an electronic component is, um, holy crap, it's wonderful. Um, so, uh, in fact, I probably the last half dozen times I've tried Google Lens to identify an electronic part, it it was spot on. Even told me specs about it I never knew. So let's see. What is this? It's called TTGO T display. So let me write that on something. Probably should have turned that off. I think this was the first one they did that had the built-in display, so they just called it the T display. So um, TTGo has come up with a bunch more of these, but at the time it was so unique, it was just called the T-Display. So that's what that is. Um, and I don't know that I'm going to put everything back in the ESP32 variant box or not, but for now I will. I'll get things like that done later. Where am I? What are you seeing? So, yeah, I don't know what that is. That is just a, oh, this is the package from the other one. Okay. So this is what comes with it. This is just a way to hook up power without going USB. So if I was going to make that stepper thing long term, I would just have a power supply, maybe a couple of these 18, what the hell they are, 1836. I never remember that number. Anyway, a couple of these. Then I would just add a buck converter, a voltage converter to power the TTGo without having to plug it in USB. So that's what I would do. Come on, get out of here. Um, my audio still clipping. Thir- 119. Yeah, I don't. I will, if I have to, take a 5 or 10 minute diversion and hook up a really nice microphone to do this. Yep, what? Yep, I'm still cutting out. Shoot. Let me finish this drawer and I will change my mic. Um, this is an expansion board for an ESP32 module of some sort. This is nothing. Where is my trash can? Um, this is an oddity. This is the way everybody thought it was going to go before ESP32 kind of took over. I mean, this is technically ESP32. Oh wait, this is no, this is the ESP. Okay, let's get a close up of this. This is an ESP8266 that they just put on steroids and put on a big board so that you could do a lot more stuff with it. And it was the, oh, here we go. Node MCU. Node MCUs are still out there. You can still use them, but the support and the widespread adoption isn't where the ESP32 is. I will probably use this for something because at least Node MCU is a known platform. But the last I looked at the Arduino IDE, I think the drivers were old or something. Like it was hard to use. So, but I've got this whole board here, so why wouldn't I? I got this whole board here, so why wouldn't I use it for something? I don't know. That's the problem with ADHD, isn't it? That you've got it, so you can't throw it away. You'll use it for something. And finally, oh, this is a good one. This is an ESP32 cam. I've seen people use ESP32 cams for a lot of things. The biggest thing that you would use an ESP32 cam board like this for is you put a couple little motors and a couple little wheels and then just drive it around like a little micro robot. Drive around like a little micro robot and watch things. It's also good. I mean, it's pretty big there, but it's also kind of good, like just nanny cam internal system, internal security, whatever. So let me do something with my microphone. Let me go back to here, and I'll show you what I'm doing with my microphone. And then I will take whatever I'm doing here and make a YouTube video out of it, like I promised the people on the AliExpress video I would. How does that sound? Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to disappear for just 1 second. And we are going to talk about this. I got this from AliExpress. It was actually really cheap. I want to say around 20 bucks. Um, but I need to give you a little history. And that is, so way back when I was playing in a band back in the 80s, we had these things called direct boxes. If you're not familiar with a direct box, what it allows you to do, and this is before we had in-ear monitors and wireless guitar hookups and all that stuff. A direct box, wait, go back. We had a snake. A snake, um, they call them a loom in a studio now. I just learned that the other day. But a snake is a great big bundle of wires that goes from the stage to the back of the house to run sound. It's just got a bunch of XLR cables, a bunch of like 12 or 16 cables that look like this on each end. And, oh, okay, yeah, 12 or 16 cables that look like this on each end. And if you wanted to put a guitar or a keyboard directly into that snake, and you didn't have any of the quarter-inch inputs left, what you would do is you would put it into a direct box. What a direct box did was make line level look like a microphone, so that the person on the board is just like, oh, that's just one of my lines coming in. It's just a microphone, you know. So there's that. And of course, things like that have expanded to where you could actually run it through a little DAW or a little audio thing and modify your sound without even using an amplifier on a guitar and send it down. So skipping forward, if you wanted to, and I'm going to carry this camera. Don't get queasy, but I'm going to carry this camera somewhere. If you had a really nice microphone like this with this kind of a connector, you would have to run it through either something like this, which is a mixer board that has USB, or you would run it through like a USB mic preamp, like PreSonus makes them, where they got a little tube preamp in them. And they also shape the sound in a certain way. So what this is sort of the other end of the spectrum. This is a direct box for digital recording. So essentially what it does is you can plug a microphone into this and a USB cable. It takes its power from USB and it allows you to run a microphone via USB without anything in the middle. The other thing that's very important is a lot of microphones, like this one. Let me go ahead and grab this microphone. A lot of microphones like this one actually don't work without a little assistive power. And that is called phantom power, which means that the soundboard is creating some electricity up to 64 volts, but sometimes as low as 6 or 12, depending like a Sennheiser lav mic is nowhere near that kind of voltage, but still requires phantom power. So even if I had a cable that converted from this, let's see here, from this 3-hole mechanism down to a cable I could plug into my audio jack, it's still not going to work because it needs phantom power. So what this box is going to do is it's going to allow me to input a microphone here. and allow it to have phantom power. And the only hard part about this entire exercise is finding a USB-A cable like this that will reach to a USB port over here somewhere. So, speaking of that labeling system, one moment please. Now, I can honestly say I watched a video with Adam Savage yesterday, and he was explaining how he organizes his USB cables into gallon trash bags or gallon food bags. And I would have to say I like my system better than his, which never happens. But I got a bunch of boxes this shape. They're probably an inch and a half by 4 inches by 8 inches boxes, and a whole stack of them. I still got a bunch. They're throwing them away at my old work, and so I picked them up. So I have now. Come on. Sorry. Um, Created the same kind of labels, and I have. If I've got too many Type A to Type B micro cables, I'll just create another box with the same label. And so here's one with Type A to Type B micro. I think I pulled the wrong kind out. Oh, here's Type. Yeah. So this micro was I was trying to charge. I was trying to charge one of the phone cameras I had a micro connector. I was trying to find the right cable for it. So these all go back on an organized shelf. The shelf above it has my 3D filament on it, so you can tell that if I put 3D filament on one shelf, I I don't have that much filament if I'm only putting it on one shelf. So here's Type A to Type B. Let's pick the longest one that we got. Cross our fingers. And then, well, I hope I don't have to install any drivers for this. But let me go over here. Looks like I've got a free USB port over here. And it's on. Now the question is, can I find it? So I am going to nope. I'm going to add an audio input capture. I'm going to add an audio input capture. I should probably turn on a light over here so you can see me. And see if it shows up. Audio input capture. Oh, this is a direct box. And the device is digital audio interface. No, that's the one over there. I think I have to install a driver. Wow. Or it's AliExpress and it just doesn't work. Which is even more delightful. Okay, so let's turn off that camera. Oh, let's turn off that camera. There we go. One more moment. No, that's not going to work either. Crap. I'm sitting here wondering if that particular device is only USB powered, not actually USB. 48 volt phantom power. Use the voltage boosting low pass filter circuit design. Use the 5 volts. Oh, wow. Crap. It looks like it's only using USB to supply phantom power. And then you're still supposed to send it to a soundboard. Oh. Okay. I'm going to pull out some big guns here. I am pulling down a giant tote of microphones type stuff. Like I said many years ago, I used to play in a band, and of course, nothing got thrown away. So, this is back. I didn't use wireless mics. I mastered being able to coil up a cable in my hand and not trip over it. Let's see here. Do I get a microphone? Ooh, something's coming through there. Let's see if we can get. Go back up to that. And USB audio codec. Okay. Close. Hmm. Oh wait, no, that's going over there. So I'm getting clip notifications over there. Hmm. This is what I wanted to do today. Okay, well, I'm about to give up. It's one of those things where the pressure's on, so I'm not sure what's going on, but if I was sitting here and Droid Cam audio, is that doing anything? Setting. Hmm. All right. Just. I know I got dead air. If you can hear me well enough, I'm just going to move on. Yeah, that should be picking up audio from my overhead camera now. How about now? Test, test, test. No. Oh well. Oh well. If you can hear me, I guess that's what we need to do. All right. All right. Well, I'll figure out something for the next time, I guess. I'm not getting a lot of sorting done. Um, how many viewers have I lost? Oh, you were actually getting dual sound when I first plugged it in? Yeah, I don't know. Huh. Okay. So, I have pulled out one called Arduino Nano expansion boards, which are exactly what they are. Um, so, um, they're just something that you can plug in an Arduino Nano into, and then it breaks out the other boards. However, also in this are some things that may or may not be Arduino Nanos, like that one and that one. I think they are, but this one here is a SAMD21 Mini, and I don't think it's an Arduino at all, even though it's that Nano format. Um, I looked at it, and I don't even know that I can burn a bootloader onto it. But the nice thing is that I can. I'm pretty sure I can boot. Sorry, I can put a circuit, yeah, circuit Python bootloader on there, so that it just becomes a USB drive, and I can just copy Python onto it. Um, So the nice thing is I've kind of been through this drawer recently. I didn't know if these were SAMD boards or whether these were actually. I got the SAMD boards because they said they're a lot faster. I'm like, oh, a lot faster, not realizing that, as you do in ADHD, not reading the fine print and realizing that they're not actually directly compatible with what I wanted to do. ATT Tiny Burner project. Well, here's something I haven't got set up yet, but maybe one of these days, but I doubt it. And that will probably come to light later. So this is basically, I got a bunch of AT Tiny 65, 85 chips that I would like to do little projects and then burn them and then be able to use those in the projects without taking out a whole new Arduino. Like this chip right here is a little AT Tiny 86 chip, 86, 65, 56, whatever. Um, and so what you would do is you would write something Arduino. You make sure you only use like two I/O pins because that's about all you get on an 8-pin chip. Um, but if it's something that's very very simple in terms of what it needs to do, that might be all you need. Um, so the reason I may not, I'm just leave this as a sorting box. The reason that I probably won't build that is I believe that somewhere I actually have a dedicated AT Tiny burners. So that would yield building one moot, and then I'll probably just toss that. But if I find more of them, I can put them in that box. Um, so let's look at these. So I've got three of these drawers, and I marked them new arrivals because about 4 years ago, I was going to start my YouTube channel, which I got to a couple of weeks ago, and then I would have a new arrivals part, which has now become AliExpress unboxing. Um, so here's a drawer full of them, and I'm not 100% sure what they are. So this is your regular ESP32 room, WROOM. I think this is your run-of-the-mill. You're going to do something ESP32. This is what you're going to do. And I want to say that I've got a sorting drawer somewhere that's just ESP32. So hang on a second. Oh, that's the one I already had out. So since I have this dedicated ESP32 drawer, um, which has a negligible amount of ESP32s in it, this is actually an 8266. So I think I've got 8266s somewhere else. So I'm just going to write um, 80, got a nice new drafting pen. Um, had an ADHD moment and looked at the mechanical pencil subreddit and decided that I needed to own a bunch of 0.9 millimeter mechanical pencils. So sometimes you kick yourself, but boy, it's a lot of fun to have them. I do a whole video on mechanical pencils at this point. Not that I will. I don't think the ADHD was strong enough in that topic to actually create a whole video about mechanical pencils. Suffice to say, I do have a shit ton of them. So yeah, sorry, Tracy. My wife's watching. I'm not sure she even knew that. So we're gonna go ahead and put those 32s in there. This is this is a DF Player Mini. I believe what a DF Player Mini is. I'm not very much mistaken. Yeah. So let's take a look at this in close up. It's a DF2 Mini something. Maybe that's just the way it's labeled. DF Player Mini MP3. So um, not 100% sure the specs on it, but you could put MP3s on a micro SD card, and then somehow you communicate with it. You give it power, and then you can tell it. I think you can go in and get a list of the tracks that are on it, and you can select which track and play that track and play certain times within that track. So the idea being that that becomes like you're doing a modern day speak and spell, or you want a refrigerator to panic and it's got 7 different things that it says. You could put them on there and use that as the driver for the different sounds. And then now I want to sell it in Mexico, so I just put in the Spanish language MP3. Um, and but that's kind of neat. Just if you want to add MP3 type sound to a device. So we're going to call this sort MP3 audio because I think I have some more. And we're going to create a little sort pile over here. Okay, this is kind of silly. I don't know why I got 3 of them. Also, I don't know what happened to my Switch scalpel. I had it yesterday. I love that thing. If you look at my YouTube videos, I use it for everything. I've got an AliExpress video coming out next week where I use my Switch scalpel. Um, I should rebrand some Switch scalpels as shiny squirrel and sell them if anybody wants them. If you haven't seen my Switch scalpel, take a look at my AliExpress video that's out there. This is, what the heck is this? Some sort of a display. Oh, I know what this is. I know what this is. This is a voltmeter. And that's all it is, a dedicated voltmeter. Where did my... the thing I was controlling the servo with had a battery. Not that battery. Welcome to the world of ADHD. Okay. So, are we overhead now? No. So overhead, I've got this battery. And then if I had a device and I just want to show how much battery was left in it, I would hook this up to this and this up to this. Yeah. Let's try this again. We'll do a little bit of the close-up camera work. Keep in mind, I'm just going to touch this to a battery, but I want you to see the display. So we will weigh that down with a little Roku remote. We'll get the battery in there. And so now it looks like I've got 7.8 volts. I think the max of this is like 8.4 volts is the most it could possibly be. So it's fairly charged up. So I've got a red voltmeter. Let me make a file for voltmeter. I think I've got a red and 2 greens, or 2 reds and a green, and I don't know which. So let's take a quick look. Oh, that's funny. Making a Yaz. I didn't get to the Yaz reference. Sorry. Yaz is a cool guy. Kevin, I think you'd like him. Dragons, as the policeman knew, were supposed to breathe fire and occasionally get themselves slaughtered. That's from a Yaz song. You know that album? Yaz? Upstairs at Eric's. In Britain, they call him Yazoo. So this is the red one. Um, can't quite see it, but it is red. You know what? I've got a pen here somewhere. A white pen. This is something that I absolutely love doing. And that is to get white and black acrylic paint markers. Um, I just got these deep ones. BigClive.com suggested these. They just say that they're markers. They don't even say that they're acrylic. But then just write on what they are. And if the device is big enough, um, you can actually write the full spec. The other day I was working on a project and I had a voltage converter, but it had a lot of specs to it because it was constant voltage, constant current. But it had enough uh, breadboard space on, sorry, it had enough breadboard space on the back of it that I could write the entire spec, like what maximum minimum voltages, uh, amperages. I know, you're looking at a close-up of nothing. Hang on, hang on, hang on. I thought I was going to get it quicker. Okay, so this one I know then is green. Also because there's a green dot on the package. Where are we? Yeah, because there's a green dot on the package. So I know that this one is a green voltmeter. So now I don't even have to label them. I just know what they are when I pull them out. That's sweet. So got my voltmeters there. And here is another MP3 device. Um, so if I hadn't knocked my black marker off of my desk, I could just write on that. Oh, here it is. I'm just going to write. I'm just going to write like MP3 on this. And then I will know close enough what it is. At least when I go back and resort it in my lab, I'll know what it is. AI viewers at streambo.com. I don't want your AI. Why would I want an AI viewer? I just got spammed on Twitch. Why? Why? Why would I want an AI viewer? What advantage is there for me having AI viewers? Artificial counts don't help anything, and I don't know if the AI will learn anything from what I'm saying. And if it does, it'll clearly misinterpret it. Oh, okay. This is, where are we? This is a 1.9-inch TFT screen for Arduino or whatever. So that's a cool thing. But I have displays somewhere, and I think I might just save this and find my displays. I put it with those. Um, this is an ESP32 carrier board. I don't know where we're looking. Probably this one? No, this one. This is an ESP32 carrier board, just like that one, so I'm going to put it in there. This looks like um, this looks like another MP3 player, but it's certainly SD card. I wonder if it's just because it's a female connector, but it's the same thing, kind of. Let's see what Google Lens says about that thing. And if you guys look at these things and you're like, you know what you could make out of that? I want to know. Email me, send me a message or something, what you think I can make out of that. Because what I thought I could make out of it is A, forgotten, and B, may not be as interesting as something you come up with. Let's see. Uh, um, what is it? Oh, okay. It is not a player. It is just a micro SSD card holder. which is good to know. Where's my um, and if you ever see this BigClive.com, if you've never watched Big Clive's channel, it's like this, but he's got a much better accent than I do. Um, he has a Isle of Man accent, which is a blend between because it's between Ireland um, and Britain. It's sort of this sort of Scottish, sort of Irish, and it's really mellifluent. Is that the word? Or no, I don't know. Mellifluous. It's a really wonderful voice he has. So I'm just going to give that this way. Micro SSD. So something that's just something good to have around that I can sort later. Um, I got another DF player. Holy crap! How many of these did I get? There must have been a there must have been a sale. Buy more than one and get them really cheap, like five for $1 or something. So we're gonna call this MP3. I feel like that would have been an important message if I knew where the hell my phone was. No, it's a message from Lowe's. I can save up to $100 on kitchen shit. Yay. Oh, wait, yet another one. This is an MP3 TF. Yeah, it's the same thing. Um, so if I put that there and I put that there, so that's all on the same screen. That's all. What I need to do, I'm going to change this screen real quick because I am not happy with what this screen is doing. This is the focus on desktop screen, desktop focus, and I am going to drag my macro cam. Nope, I can't just drag it, can I? Desktop focus, add source, add scene, macro cam, macro scene, macro cam, up there, and then we'll put that there, and we'll turn that one off, and we will lock him. And now this view on the stream in the top left corner will have a much closer view of the thing that I'm looking at. So I don't have to switch cameras as much. And you can see my face in the upper right. I know you don't want to, but it'll keep me back from switching back to a scene where, hey, look, I'm large and you can't see anything interesting but an iron-on shiny squirrel logo. So we'll go back to that view. You know, sorry, I'm going to cut back to this view. When something comes in a plastic box like this, you know it's got to be good. I've never had anything crappy come in a plastic box like this. So I'm always happy when you get something in a box like this because you know it's like this is the thing, this is the thing. Um, so let's open this. In fact, let's do this view on Zoom. There we go. Let's open this. I think what this is a little ESP32 with its own little micro screen. Look at that. Um, it is actually a SIP'd. I don't know what SIP'd means. But let's see if we can get a um, where am I? let's see if I can get a. This is something else that Big Clive suggested was one of these things from AliExpress, 15 bucks, and it is a. It's not a magnifying glass. It is not a digital magnifying glass. It is a digital microscope. Not high power, but look at that. This is looks like a dedicated chip. BL 7022SA0 SJW 8H2219F2. Okay. Pieces ground boot. Um, yeah, I'm gonna have to take a closer look at this, but it's almost assuredly Arduino compatible. Oh wait, it's an MO. It's an M0 sense. Okay, let me if you can read that, it's an MO sense tiny makes. It's actually got two buttons. I believe it is a scaled down ESP32 with its own dedicated screen. Like you could literally fold this over, put it in a little enclosure, like this one in close up, fold this over, do something in an enclosure, and write your own video game or whatever. That's all the bigger it is. That'd be really cool to do a video about this and look at the different projects that people have done with these. But that's pretty sweet. That is pretty sweet. Um, yeah, yep. M0 Sense. It says M0 Sense. It makes me wonder if there's actually a um sensor of some sort. Sensor of some. I doubt that it's a touchscreen, but the fact that it says Sense makes me wonder if it's designed to like display temperature or something like that. I'm pretty sure that's the ESP variant, but I think I want to put that with display since it's got a built-in display. Um, that is just. This looks like. Here, what is this? Anybody still there? I'm talking to myself. I think this is just a tiny, tiny ESP32. Let's see. Why do I keep turning this off? Yeah, ESP3. Oh, this is the new one. This is the ESP32C3. So they came out with a C3, a C4, 5, and a S3, and they're all incredibly, incredibly fast. I don't know by what benchmark. Um, so when I started thinking about YouTube channel 11 years ago, one of the things I thought I would do is go through every Arduino I have and do actual benchmarks on how they're configured with the Arduino OS, not the chip itself. Um, but this, wow. So this is an ESP32C3, they call it Super Mini. So if you just do ESP32C3 Super Mini um, on AliExpress, you'll find them. Um, but they're supposed to be really, really, really fast, like audio signal processing fast. So that's very cool. So that's the 32 variant. Um, two more in this box, three more in this box to look at. This one, the hell is that? Oh, it's an expressive for sure. ESP32 room 32. So that's just an alternate version or the same version. Yeah, I think it's the same version. So that's good. So the two coolest things in this box are left. So I don't know if anybody out there deals with an M5 stack. M5, it's kind of like the Bamboo Labs of Arduino in the sense that they're trying to keep you in their ecosystem, but it's a little easier to connect things together and make cool things happen. But if you look at the M5 stack website, they've got a bunch of different modules, but this one is actually a MIDI synth module. What they've done is um, they've taken the chip that was like on the old original Sound Blaster card, that the wavetable. So you used to on your uh, Sound Blaster card. If it didn't have a MIDI wavetable, you could buy a wavetable daughter board and put on your. So this is the wavetable daughter board chip that's in here. Unfortunately, and you can't buy those chips. You can buy those chips, or you can buy this thing, but you can't buy those chips just broken out with all the leads. They're actually an odd size chip. Um, so it's hard to bring out stereo. There are some actual DSP aspects to it. Um, but the thing that I want to do with this is just create a something just died. I just heard something died. Oh, it was just so I've got this launch key mini Mark III, Mark III, Mark II, Mark III. I don't know what it is. Anyway, I love this thing. It's just a MIDI controller, but I think it would be. Oh wait, you're not seeing this. This launch key mini Mark III. Uh, it's just a MIDI controller, but boy, I love it. It just sits on my desk so I can noodle while I'm working. But it has the the MIDI type plug that is just like a headphone jack right here. What I'd like to do is just create something with a couple of speakers and this synth module, and maybe even be able to control it from these buttons to pick different sounds from this. Like there would be an Arduino in between. Maybe even a tiny little, just a little ESP, tiny little thing like that. So all I have to do is plug that into here, and then it becomes a standalone synth where I've either customized preset voices on it, or maybe I hook up, if I can get the MIDI signals out of these knobs, to actually modify voices, and just, I think it would be really cool. I already got a little Arduino program running, and I bought two of these. And by layering different sounds and stuff, I got a reasonably effective Hammond organ sound, with even a way to switch it into a pseudo Leslie. So you can turn on the vibrato, and then you can also vary the speed of the vibrato. So in Arduino, I'm actually sending signals to speed up and slow down vibrato, and I'm layering two different organ sounds on top of each other, which reduces the polyphony. It was from like 16 polyphony to 8 polyphony or something when you do that. But I think it's got real promise. It's just something I would love to sink my teeth into and do a dedicated video building that out. And finally, this is the goofiest friggin' thing I have ever seen. I'm going to put it right here under the close-up cam. Make sure I'm talking about the right thing. It's called Dual MCU. It is bizarre. I just found it and it was like 15 bucks and I had to have it. I'm not sure why I had to have it. Let me try to explain what this is though. Um, so this is an ESP32, right? It's also um, the little Raspberry Pi, not the Pi Zero, the Pi the Nano, the thing that's sort of a competitor with the Arduino. It's actually both of those, and they share a bus between them. But then you've got inputs and outputs for both chips. So essentially, you can upload a Python file or an Arduino file and run either one of them. They don't necessarily talk to each other, but there are codes that you can talk to each other. So you could have one doing something that's very um clock specific and can't be interrupted, that offloads to the Raspberry chip. So, or vice versa. So this ESP could be just display processing, or just machine learning or AI lookup or something, while this little Raspberry chip does the thing, and I don't know what the things are. I do know that uh, a, it's just a wacky thing. I don't. But it was so wacky, I had to buy it. I actually bought one for my uncle, and then he ghosted me. But we won't talk about that. It's got a little micro SD in there. And I'm just thinking you could do something really, really magical with this if you could determine what the magical thing is that you could do with this. If you know what I mean. So there's that. Um, I love it. I really don't know what or if I'm going to do anything with it. Um, but there's that. All right, let's put this back over here. How are we doing today, guys? Take a little breather, clean up some stuff. Yeah, I've got a TV right up here that's actually streaming YouTube, just so I can see if the feed even cuts out. It's not like I can critique my performance or anything. Um, yeah, that really disappoints me about that microphone thing, though. Really, really disappoints me that that's just all it is that you're using USB to get phantom power, which is okay, I guess, but not what I wanted. I wanted a direct box. I really wanted something, and they make these. I can't remember who makes them, but basically you take a microphone and you plug this thing in the bottom, and it converts it to USB, and then you just use it as they call them podcaster mics or podcaster adapters. Um, so go figure. Um, hey, Speed Nick 08, welcome. Don't know you, and if not, really welcome because I invited the people that actually showed up for my very first stream. What can you tell me about yourself? I just got this recently. Um, well, because I saw it on AliExpress, I had to have it. It's just a bunch of parts. Oh my God. Okay. This is not very smart. I'm going to put it over here. Yeah, let's do that one. This is not very smart. This is just a controller, but it's got a TFT screen on it, and it's got a button. Is that just a button or a joystick? I believe that's a button joystick, and it's got a rotary encoder on it. So I mean, you can see the possibilities. Possibilities you could basically build anything that needs one, a button. Might just be a button. I don't know if that's a crappy floppy button or if that's actually a joystick. No, it's just a button. It's only got four leads on it. So anyway, so it's got a button and a rotary encoder, so you can build your own. Oh, I don't know, thermostat. But um, for something like that stepper motor tester that I showed at the beginning, that could be really really effective to do that and turn on and off, reverse directions, change. If you want to build something dedicated to controlling a stepper, this would be a cool thing to do it with. But since I don't have a human interface section in my head, I'm going to put that with displays. Let's see what this is. Where are we? You're not seeing anything. Let's go there. Oh, tell me I just didn't buy yet another ESP32 Room 32 with two buttons and with pins. with pins, um, with pins that are bent to crap. Um, I didn't bend those pins. Bend some of those pins back. So ESP32 dev kit. All right. Hey, look, it's an ESP32. Who knew? All right, that's going to go right in the ESP32 box. This is one of the reasons that I wanted to do this because I knew I had more ESP32s. I had no idea where they were. I also have a motor speed controller somewhere that came about the same time as this, and I don't know where that is. I was just going to control a little drill motor, and I went to find it. I'm like, you know what? I need to sort through this stuff. Why don't I do a live stream? Because that's what everybody thinks. I need to sort through some stuff, so why don't I do a live stream? Oh, this is the hip new sensor. Um, everybody started using 6 months ago. Um, and it is a human presence sensor. I don't know how they work. Um, let's uh, let's take a quick look at this. I would have prepared, but I forgot this was even in here. So this is the human presence sensor. It's got a chip, and it has something to do with it being like uh, a laser or lidar or something. I would like to look that up. I don't know that I want to take the time to look that up. Um, maybe just a couple of minutes. Let's see here. Let's just look this up real quick. Um, I need I need Google. There it is, Google. Um, let's see here. I saw a number on here. HLLK. Let me know if you're not seeing me typing on Google. Oh, I just don't know where the speed comes from, Nick. I I I've never known you to be much speedy except when you were swimming. Well, and racing, yes. All right, we're 2410C. Where am I? LO2410C version 1.0. Human presence 24 gigahertz. Human presence induction. Induction. It's a radar module. Okay, let me pull it back up. So it's a 24 gigahertz radar. That's uh that's cool. Um and I'm sure I didn't pay 246 for it. I just discovered another one the other day too. Take another closer look at that. I've discovered another one the other day that my brother gave me something. Did I bring that down? I think I did. I don't know where it is. Where it looked like it was an infrared sensor. It was for sensing when a person was present to turn some LED lights on. And it just looked like infrared. It looked like infrared emitter, infrared detector. It bounces off of something and whatever. And I just Google Lensed it, and basically it said, you may think this is an infrared detector, but it's not. It's a Doppler radar to tell whether somebody's in the room. So much so that it doesn't care if there's walls. So if you try to turn on a light in a closet, I mean, it's a cheap little object. You try to turn on a light in a closet when somebody opens the closet door, you can actually make it turn on before you get to the closet because it can see through drywall. I need to look more at that module. I mean, it's just like it's doing what now? It's like when I first found out that some cars have LiDAR, I'm like, that's not even possible. That's too big of a technology. I guess technology just gets small, doesn't it? So, um, yeah, that's cool. That certainly beats the PIR sensors that are like the ball with all the little lens, the little half white. Never mind. You know what I mean. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. If you don't, you know. Um, so this is a human detector, 24 gigahertz radar, and I will put that somewhere useful later. And this one is probably another ESP32. I'm glad I have enough of them now. Yep, it's another ESP32. We will just toss that in the ESP32 container. And 3 or 4 more things here. Um, oh, this is just something I was using for something. This is just it's an old Nano. Look at the connector in the end of that. That's yeah, that's one of those. Anyway, it's USB-A mini or USB-B mini instead of micro. So you know that's an old Arduino there. What's interesting is I have no idea. I have no idea what it was, what I was using it for. So it's going to go with Nanos over here. Okay. This one is da, 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 da. Oh, okay. So this is the same ESP um, AC66 uh, node MCU as this one over here. So I need to look up and find out what a good use for those are and just get them used. Um, so if you've seen the other videos on my YouTube, you will know that I have this little dolly thing um, that I can just have it run around my table, but I want to control it automatically. So it comes with um, which view I'm in. It comes with a little remote like this, um, and I want to try to spoof it to do motion control. So I bought this, which is a 2.4 gigahertz remote control transmitter receiver. I mean, you can do Wi-Fi with this. Anything that's 2.4 gigahertz. Um, you can use an Arduino to talk with this. So what I want to do is sense, what's the stop button, what's the return button, and try to just be able to set up a little Arduino program that says move this way for this many inches or this much time and come back or stop, and not have to stop what I'm doing and hit the remote control or hit the buttons on the side. So that goes with that. That's definitely an upcoming soon project because it's going to influence the rest of my YouTube making. Okay, this one. Oh, I don't even have any clue how to use this. So, um, it looks remarkably like like a voltmeter, right? Um, but it is not. It is, come on, zoom in. It is a Arduino. It's ESP32 with LVGL interpretation, um, and it's graphic. So this is essentially like an iWatch screen. I'm sitting here wondering if I could just fire this up and see what the default looks like. This is going to be cool, I think. Zoom in a little bit more. And we'll plug this sucker in. See, that works. This should do something when you apply power to it. Well, this should not shut off. Oh, there we go. Smartwatch powered by Guccion. So, yeah. Um, I think there's buttons somewhere. There are. I think they're I think they're just the two standard ESP buttons. I mean, I would not use it as a watch in any way. I would be oh, I just rebooted it. I would not be using it as a watch. Um, because I'm not sure you can the second you burn something to that, you're gonna lose that whole watch. I'm sure you probably get that off of GitHub, but it's not like it comes with software where you can tell it what kind of watch do you want to be. But there are lots and lots of things that are circular indicators, like speedometers and pressure gauges, or even how many viewers do you have on Twitch right now. There's so many things. Later, yes. Um, there's so many things that you could use this for. It's just so cool. I mean, one thing you could do is mount this on top of a stepper motor. I don't know if you've seen these things where you can actually control a knob, and then as you turn it, it does things, and then the stepper motor is just determining how far you've turned something. So this is really really exciting to do something with. It's not at the top of my list. It's not as high up as um, getting that motion control dollar working or my audio working better. Um, but yeah, there's some cool stuff to be done with that. Okay, where are we? I'm glad I only said 2 hours on this because this is kind of grueling. Um, let's do the let's just do the last incoming drawer because these three drawers are where most of the things um, that were unsorted were anyway. I just wanted to take inventory of what I had. Um, so this this is just a linear slider. This is for a project I was doing for Stealth Built. So if you look up Stealth Built on Instagram or YouTube, we were doing a project together, which I will publish a video on. I think he's done with that project. His ADHD has moved on. I just want to finish this up um, because when I built the thing, it didn't work because I'd used a logarithmic slider. This is a linear slider. This will actually do the thing that I need to do. Blah blah blah. Well, that was adorable, but I've lost it down into the drawer. Okay. I think this is just a motor controller. This is a stepper controller. I want to say, yeah, it is. So there are about four different versions of stepper controllers this size. Um, and they all claim to be, um, they don't claim to be, some of them claim to be smoother, like you don't get the jitter. Um, like you don't get the jitter when you're like that thing I demonstrated at the beginning. You could hear the stepper moving, but as you get better and better motor drivers, they get to be very, very, very smooth. So this would be a stepper motor driver. So much stuff in here. So this one, let me get the sorting box out of the way real quick. I'll talk about this for a minute. Um, it's the cops. They're telling me I should be streaming. Oh, spam. I don't even know why I left my phone on. But anyway, this, let's, again, if you want a Shiny Squirrel membership card, email me, Rick at Shiny Squirrel Club. Rick at Shiny, uh, Rick at ShinySquirrel.club. Um, feel free. I'll send you one. This is a little stepper motor. So the four contacts for a stepper motor are right here, and I don't know which is which. Um, but I saw a guy make a video where he's controlling a bunch of little mirrors with these. But they like flooded onto the market about 6 months ago, year ago or something. And every time I was pushed an ad for AliExpress, it was advertising these things. It's almost like they upgraded the tech, or they stopped using them, or some company shut down. I don't know. Just a bunch of tiny little stepper motors. Which the thing that appeals to me about that is being able to control something like something as small as a Hot Wheels car. That's a little big for a Hot Wheels car, but still, it's tiny. So that's kind of neat. That's just going to go in my stepper box, I think. I know where to put that. Hmm. This looks like a carrier for something else. Hopefully not diseases. Oh, I know what this is. This is a stepper motor driver carrier. So this is the same thing as I had used in that project where, yeah, that worked well. Also helps to cut to that camera. So you put the stepper motor driver in that, and then you can run things off of it. So that all just goes together there. Um, voltage powered trigger module, 5 amp, 20 volts. So I got a few of these. I think I got a whole array of them. So let's go to here and let's talk about these for a minute. I think there's probably, I want to say there's four of them in here. Maybe not. Yeah. Okay. So this is a 20 volt. Let's see here. Where should we? So this is a 20 volt. I'm going to go ahead and put this one here so you can see it up in the corner. This is a 12 volt. This is a 9 volt. Gotta be another one. I thought I had them. Anyway, so this is PD, and I don't know if you're familiar with PD. It's a so USB-C. You got that connector that everybody uses for everything now. Um, but if you've got it connected to a charger that says PD, it's power delivery. But unless the thing is asking for more than 5 volts, it's only ever going to get 5 volts. But part of the way that speed charging works on iPhones and Samsung phones is they will actually ask for more voltage and then do more stuff with it. But this is a way to fake. So if I've got a somewhere, I don't know where it is, somewhere I've got a battery that you charge it up and you use it to charge your phone when you're camping or whatever. But it has a power delivery out. I've got a couple of things that have power delivery. So what you can do is if you want to control a project that requires 12 volts or 9 volts, or in this case 20 volts, I think there's a 15 volt. This actually lists them. They make them a 9 volt, 12 volt, 15, and 20. There's just a little bitty chip on here. So this chip, all this is here is to identify itself as a power delivery thing and how many volts it wants. So this then just goes to your device. So if I plug my power delivery into here, and this says it wants 20 volts, I'll actually get 20 volts out of this, which is really, really nice. Because if I want to create something that I actually need 20 volts to do it, but I don't want to put in a whole big power supply, and also it's not pulling that many amps. You can't pull that many amps that way. But having the higher voltage just in a very small package that you can just arbitrarily say, I'm going to plug this into USB, but I'm going to get 20 volts out of it. Very, very, seems like it'd be very, very useful. Because sometimes you just need more than 5 volts. All right, we're going to put that on another sticky note over here, like Fred's Bank. And then um, I have a bunch of different RGB. Um, oh, that's just something free somebody gave me. A Gator bit. It was it was a freebie from something. Um, so here's some. Um, these are just RGB LEDs on a strip that I can solder onto things. That is another stepper motor driver. Um, that's another stepper motor driver. Okay, so I've got some of these, which are um, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like there's 7 lights in here. Um, but you can control them. I need to make a video on how these things work. They are so cool how the data works to drive 256 lights or whatever out of one little data stream. It's very, very, very neat. I was doing a project, and of course I didn't finish it. Um, so here's some that are 3, and I'm just like, that's all it takes to do what you need to do. Wow. So the reason I got some of these on strips is because I've got a couple more somewhere. You're not seeing this. So the reason I got some of these individual is because I remember I got one of these big ones, and it's got a burnout light on it, but I really wanted to learn surface mount soldering. So I also have a heat rework gun and solder paste, and they're all in the original packaging waiting for me to learn how to do that. So I literally have more videos than I know that I have time to make, but videos in mind that I have time to make. Oh, here's a PIR breakout. So this, I'm moving on to a different thing. Here's a PIR breakout here, and that's the old style of PIR sensor. I don't know what PIR stands for. I should find out. What does PIR stand for? Um, what does PIR stand for? Um, passive infrared sensor is what that is, and that's what I thought it was on that LED thing I got from my brother. That it was a passive infrared sensor. So that's also a human sensor. I was think of it as a person in the room, but I knew that's what wasn't what it stood for. So um, where did I put my other laser sensor? I probably should set stuff down on top of it. Yeah, human in the room. Um, wow, look at that! It's another PIR sensor. I I don't know why that is. Where did I get PIR sensors? I don't know. Okay, well, this is another freebie I will never use for anything. This is another freebie. So the thing about these, they're spark fun, which means that what they're intended to do. Let me see if I get a little closer shot of that. What they're intended to do is um, you actually use alligator clips to hook those up and do things. So um, I actually got a bunch of Adafruit lily pads and a bunch of clips. Somebody was giving them away. So I might do something with those one of these days. Maybe teach a kid how to do it and then give the kid the stuff when I'm all done. I don't know. Um, have to find out what those are for. And where are we? This is just a relay. I'm going to make I have a project in mind for my car, but I don't want to talk about what the project is because it'll be kind of funny if you don't know what I'm doing. If you know what I'm doing, it's going to be stupid. So I really think that's enough stuff for today. Oh, here's an example, if you care. Here's an example of me putting the entire specs on the back of a voltage boost converter. Like I made a note. Let's see. Let's go to this one. I made a note that it's 15 amp. It's 400 watts. Um, its PWM frequency is 150 kilohertz. It's boost only. It doesn't buck, so the voltage only goes up. It takes 8.5 to 50 volts in. It's constant current, constant voltage, and it does 10 to 60 volts out. Um, so that basically tells me everything. I don't need to look up a spec sheet or anything. I can just glean by all those things that are on the back of that. Um, I just know what it does. So no mystery. I can just pull it out and look at it and go, this is going to do what I want to do. And the last thing I'm going to show you is another thing that came in a plastic box. Oh boy. I love things that come in plastic boxes. And it's another one of those things. Um, like the circular one I had in a plastic box a minute ago. So this is a TTGO ESP32 LVGL watch. That's the round one that we're talking about. This one is an S3. So remember when I said TTGO just had the T display? That was the first one they made. These are all different versions of that. This one is a really, really nice, and they've got even nicer ones now. Really, really nice ESP32 TTGO LVGL display. Um, and you kind of look like what they're suggesting you do with it um, up in the upper left-hand corner. Um, but this is, I can imagine a million things I could do with this. Um, not the least of which is to hook it up to a computer. Um, and talk through USB and have it just track things, you know, CPU heat or whatever on your computer. But there's a lot of things one could do with these. Um, so what I need to do is not get too precious about them and go, that's a cool project, but I don't know if I want to waste this really cool device on something. Which is really unfortunate that you think that way because it's ESP32 and you could pull all the wires off and just use it for something else if that really didn't work out or that didn't serve, you know. So it's essentially this screen already mounted in a nice way on an ESP32. Um, but the newer ones, and they're not that expensive, they're like 30, $40, are actually touchscreen, um, which is really sweet. So anyway, uh, I want to thank everybody who made a special effort to join me today, um, because I'm just trying to get this through, get the YouTube and the streaming through, learn how to do it. I've learned a lot about this. It won't take me a whole day to set up the next time. I could probably set it up in an hour. Um, and the key is to write down all the steps, so I don't waste time doing it. Um, but I think this is very productive, especially like if I don't know where I'm going with the project, like the RF controller for this for this thing here. It'd be nice just to open a stream and just spend a couple hours doing the research and see if I could do something without seeming like I have to produce a YouTube video that actually succeeds at the end, you know. So anyway, I appreciate yeah, Jimmy Kevin. Um, why do I want to call you Jason? Your name's not Jason. Josh. Um, Yaz had to go, but you're all, I could consider you all good friends. It's my wife too. Um, and I appreciate it. And if nothing else, I've learned something. So I'm going to sign off.